Good morning, everybody. This morning we're going to finish up this barn, have this project behind us, get the horses in here, and move on to another project. First thing I'm doing to get this floor going is I'm putting down some sand to fill in any imperfections, any low spots, and bring it all up to an even grade. And then when I put the 3/4 inch stall mat on top of it, it will be relatively flat. And then any places that are high, when the horses are stepping on it, the sand will move underneath it and it'll smooth it out. So here's a 4x6 mat, 3/4 inch. Now, I don't have anything over here, obviously, and up in the front, I'm off this way. This wall is 7 feet long, and this mat actually needs to come back to about the 7-foot mark. So as long as they're babies right now, it'll be fine, but I'm gonna have to get something else later on down the road and bring it all the way back. And then the horses will be pooping and peeing right here where I'll have a bunch of litter. I'll have litter all in here, obviously, filling all this in. And then I'll have extra heavy litter here to soak up any urine and the moisture out of the manure. And when I was talking about manure and urine and rainwater and stuff running underneath there, this is not sloped down. This is relatively flat. But my point is that if anything did run underneath it, the hay would stay dry. Another thing I did is I got my water buckets hung. Really like those hooks. The hooks that I had before, they would knock them off, and I don't think they're going to be knocking these off. So I got them both set up. These are the hooks that I had, and they just have a hook right here, but they don't curve back in. And so when the horse sticks their head in there, they get their head hung on the handle and they pull it right off. So I don't like those hooks. So I'm hoping these hooks are going to work out a lot better. And if they do, then I'll swap those out in the stalls. Completed tie stalls. Litter's down. Sand's down. Rubber mats are down. Got the holes cut to tie them off to. Water buckets are in. Hay. Grain bin. A head stall. On this head stall right here, if you remember from last week's video, this was a piece of angle iron right here, and the angle goes straight down. And what I did is I cut a slot in this 2x10 right here and then just dropped the leg down into that slot, and it helps stabilize it. I ended up putting chains on here instead of tying because the chains aren't going to go anywhere, and the ropes are eventually going to deteriorate and break. So it's easier just to have a chain on there and just hook it to them. It's a heavy duty chain, but it's not heavy. And then I fixed the grain bin to where it's 12 inches inner diameter. Same as that one. They turned out excellent. Also added the windmill medallion on the door. Finished it off really nicely. I think it looks better than the little 4 1/4 inch that was gonna go right there. That way I can put a name up there if I choose to. And I put my big medallion up here in the peak of my roof. And lastly, I added a 4-board fence. I added a gate on this end, and then I added a 4-board fence in here. So it makes this place super, super convertible. You got the 2 tie stalls. You got the 2 box stalls. You've got the removable wall to make a foaling stall. And then you've got this area out here. If you needed just a small run-in area, you could have this. And if you wanted to, you could put a corral panel across there and a corral panel across there and have an individual run-in for each stall. But now you can just close this gate. Got an eye bolt right there you hook it to. And it makes a great little area. So I'm super pleased with how it turned out. Got to give you some dimensions and give you some overall pricing. First introduction to their tie stalls. Both munching on their grain. Trying to figure it out. Head stall works great. See, the 7-foot wall is almost perfect. When they get full grown, they'll be back here, and then they'll be pooping and peeing right over here. Grace is pawing a little bit, but she's getting it figured out. Thinks she wants to knock her grain tray over. She's used to knocking her bucket over when I feed her on the ground, and I think she's trying to knock her grain tray over. She doesn't like anything in a tray or in a bucket. She tries to knock over the 100-gallon water tray. And Chief's in here eating. His girlfriends are right next door. And then Joy's not here right now. Joy is with a trainer about 40 minutes away. She's getting a little refresher course, and she'll be back. Last thing I need to do in here is get a load of M10 down here on the floor. M10 is a granite sand, basically. It will compact. Unlike the sand that's underneath here, the sand will continue to move, but the M10 that'll be out here, it'll actually compact down. It won't get hard like concrete, but it'll pack down. So that's the last thing I got to do, but it's raining today, so we're not going to do that. But other than that, the barn is completely done. So I just want to go over the final measurements with you, show you a few things, give you a price breakdown. So the barn overall is 24 feet wide and 36 feet long, built on 12-foot centers. So if you count the posts, 12, 24, 36. The eaves are 10 feet I told somebody 12 last week, I apologize, but the eaves are 10 feet and then the peak is 14 feet. This is a 412 pitched roof. So by dividing that in half, you wind up with 12-foot stalls and a 12-foot aisle. So each stall is 12 by 12 in between the posts there. The door opening is 48 inches and the door is 5 inches wider than the opening. So the walls all the way around are 8 feet high. Two feet up above them, and then 4 feet. The tie stalls are 5.5 feet wide. The feed trough is 5.5 feet wide by 24 inches wide this way, and then 22 inches deep. The floor of the feed trough is roughly 8 inches off the ground. The grain bin is 15 by 24 with an inside dimension of 12 by 21. Their tie is 3 feet long. I'll have to play with that and figure out if that's too long or too short. The center wall is 7 feet long, and that's from the feed bin to the end. Total length of that wall is 9 feet. The wall is roughly 36 inches tall. The step-up wall is about a foot tall, and then the head stall is 2 feet tall, and it is 41 inches long. The top of the head stall up here is right at 6 feet tall. And the walls on the stall are right at 5 feet tall. The bars are about 4 feet tall, so we're about 9 feet tall overall height on the stalls. The rails up there are 10 feet long. And I do have to cut off the 6x6 posts at the top. I have not done that yet. Hopefully that answered any more questions on dimensions and gives you some ideas of your guidelines of what you need to do in building your stalls. This is a continuation from last week's video and the previous week's video. So if I said some stuff in here that you didn't understand what I was saying, just go back and watch the previous videos and you'll understand. The shell itself in part 1 was $12,345. And everything else was done by me, so I saved a lot of money on labor there. I welded up everything, hung everything, and it came to a cost of right at $3,000. So for $15,345, I've got a complete barn. Now, these are COVID prices. They're supply chain issue prices. So lumber had gone sky high, as everybody knows, and then it started to come down, and when lumber started to come down, metal started to go up. So to give you an idea, these 2x6x8s were $6.48. They came in bundles of 65. I bought a bundle and a half. I needed 2 bundles, but they didn't have them, so I bought a bundle and a half. When I went back to get the rest of them, they were $10.98. They went up $4.40. I don't know what that is, about 40%, I guess. But they went up $4.40 from $6.48 to $10.98. And the rest of the lumber went up too, but I don't know what the prices on everything else was. It didn't really matter because I had to have it. So prices are going to be different in your area, so don't judge what I spent in pandemic prices and supply chain issue prices and being in the South versus what you're gonna do in the north or out in the west in 2 years when you watch this video, or however long it takes for somebody to come across this video. So, but in today's prices, that's what I paid. Overall, I'm real pleased with how everything turned out, and it's gonna be a great addition to the farm. I hope you learned something in this whole 5-part series process. And as always, remember who you are, be kind to those around you, stand up for what you believe in. Thanks for watching.